All right, guys. This woman decides to write a letter to her husband and allow him to divorce her. And we're going to play this video and then we'll discuss it when we get back, guys, because I really want to know what you guys' opinions are as Christians who we're supposed to value marriage and we're not supposed to throw in the towel. We're supposed to stand firm on biblical principles. What do you guys think about this?
So today I decided that I'm going to let my husband free. And you know what? I'm actually at peace with it because I prayed all these days this past week about it for God to give me an answer. And I'm at peace of letting him go and annulling our marriage. I'm going to read the message I sent him today, letting him free, telling him that I'm letting him free and that he deserves somebody that can understand him. So bear with me. This is what I sent him. And just for a little context, he was trying to come over to my house to see the kids and spend time with them here. And so that's why I talk about him like taking the kids to his place and not being at my house anymore. So this is what I said. I said, so I was thinking about this and praying about it, and I will never deny the kids from seeing you. And whenever you want to see them, you can have them. That's up to you of how present of a father you want to be because you don't only have to see them on your weekends because he gets them every other weekend, you know? So I said, because they will grow up knowing how often you put effort into seeing and being there for them. So if you want to see the kids today, from now on, you will take the kids and take them to your place. You are not allowed to enter my home and spend time with the kids here at my house. I'm not an option. I am your wife. You said you wanted to be alone and work on yourself, but you already made up your mind to do that without me in your life. I begged and asked you to work on it together, and you dismissed my feelings and would get upset for asking simple questions. You shut me down and kept reminding me of my sins instead of communicating with me properly. I can't keep tolerating someone who's avoidant with their feelings. You told me it was your turn now, and that if it happens, it happens. Talking about if he sleeps with a girl or is whatever, that if it happens, it happens. No matter how much I pray, it is your decision, and your decision was made to not try and work things out. You belong with someone that understands you because as much as I know you and about you, because I know everything about him, I still don't understand how you could push me away, especially when I was there for you during the difficult times when we were struggling, like financially, had hardships. I still tried so hard for us to have a good life. Something that I will never forget is when you said, I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I'm sorry that I could never love you right. I know someone will love you the way you need to be loved. And in that moment, it clicked. After 10 years of you saying sorry to me, you still could never put any effort into our marriage. All I wanted was to be seen and spend quality time with you. I never asked anything else from you. You recognize it, but you did nothing to change the mistakes that were made. So from this day forward, I will let you be free and we will keep our distance and space from each other to heal and be better for other people that we deserve. We will co parent and be present parents to our kids. As far as their mom, they know they can always count on me. I'm respecting your wish to give us space and I'm giving myself boundaries so I can heal and move on. And let me know if you'll be picking up the kids today or not so they can be ready. So that was my message, letting him know that I am going to move on. And as much as it hurts, like I said, I'm doing this out of love. I'm not doing this to like be petty. Porque yo siempre le he rogado, I've always been the one, always trying to get help, always trying to work things out. That made me realize like there's no point of me trying to be there for my husband and to fix things when he's never wanted to all these years. And as much as it hurts, I feel like we were soulmates, but I think it was more of like an attachment of personalities. And I think that's why he always said that he could never love me the way I needed to be loved because our personalities like were so similar. To realize that I do deserve better because I'm a lover girl. I believe in real love. And it's crazy how God has placed people in my life for a reason to make me realize that there is better. I went to church this past Saturday and like he put little things and people to make me realize like there is more out there. Like I could meet a guy in church. Like there's a lot of handsome men in church and like there's always that possibility of finding that true love that I've always been looking for. Even though I used to always say like I met my husband at a church retreat, un encuentro de jóvenes. And then look what happened. Like, look what I went through. And I met him at church. But through this, I'm still not losing faith into like finding that ideal love that I've been wanting. I want a man of Christ. I want a man that can lead. And I'm tired of being the masculine person in the relationship. Like, I want to be feminine. I want to be soft. I've always had a like tough personality, and I don't want to be like that anymore. And obviously that comes from my childhood of having to not be accepted as a girl. But God is showing me that I can be loved and cared for the proper way, and that's through Him first, and then Dios dirá al rato. Um, right now, my plan is not to date, like for a relationship. I am open to meeting people, and so I'm letting that be known that I'm not looking for anything serious yet. Once the annulment is actually done, my plan is to remain in castidad. I don't want to have a fuck buddy or anything and fall into the sin of adultery. Um, and so I will remain in abstinence. That is my main priority, and to love and respect myself until the right one comes. So, and it feels so nice to say this out loud because obviously I haven't told anyone this yet, but life goes on, and I have to tell myself like there's going to be better. And I'm going to be better because I'm working on myself internally, spiritually, mentally and physically. Like, I've lost so much weight and I'm close to getting to my goal weight. And I just imagine this grand life. Like, ahorita no me tengo que quejar de nada. I have a beautiful brand new home. I have everything that I need. Like, yo no necesito de un hombre ahorita. Like, I have my cars. Like, my bills are paid for. I don't need a man. Like, todo esto yo lo he hecho sola y con la ayuda de Dios. And God has shown so much mercy to me, provided along the way. And yeah, I just felt like I'm going to share more of my journey along the way of this whole situation of annulling my marriage through the Catholic Church. And, you know, I'll show you along the way if I go out on dates or meet people, make friends. I plan on going to Encuentros de Jóvenes again. And so maybe I'll vlog my trips. I'm a travel for sure. And I'll see who I meet along the way. But that's all I wanted to say.
So the question that I wrote down is how much of this is the flesh, right? And that's on both parties involved. Um, I can't help but to hear that there's a lot of selfishness, and this is not from a place of judgment because I feel like she feels that that's the only option because this man has kind of turned his back on her and he's getting ready to go do him. So why wouldn't she do her, right? So I'm not judging. I'm just making an observation. I think she feels like now is her time to do her after what, 10 years, she said. So at the age that she's at, there is a level of, I don't need a man. She says she doesn't need a man. She's got her own house and everything. And so she's ready to like do her for a minute. Now, she did say that she was going to be abstinent. So kudos to that. But at the same time, it's like, you're still married. You're in an annulment. I don't know the legalities of it all. An annulment to me, I thought was something that you do like quickly after marriage instead of divorce. So like you can annul the marriage after a certain period of time. So in my head, it sounds like they haven't been married that long, but they've been together 10 years. But for her to meet someone in church and have kids and they're getting annulled, I'm just doing, quick math or whatever. It doesn't sound like they've been married long. So they were probably living in sin. They had these babies out of wedlock. This is just me. I don't know her story. This is the only video I've ever seen by her. So, I mean, maybe if somebody that knows in the comment section can give me a little bit more input on the fly. I feel like that's why there's friction in this marriage. Now, she said something else that he said. It's his turn now. His turn now to do what? Because what she said when he said that was that it's his turn to go to be with other women and to sleep with any other women, and it is what it is, like whatever the consequences that come from that. So it makes me question, did she cheat at some point in time? For him to say that it's his turn now implies that she's already had her turn. And I can't help but to feel that in all of this, to have to focus on the fact that they're still married. Like in God's eyes, that they're still married. They need to work this out, right? And if he's not like running around cheating and she's not running around cheating, it's just a matter of like abandoning your spousely duties, I don't think that this is beyond redemption. And that's why I'm wondering if it's the flesh, if they're both just being selfish, and if they've just been together for so long that they're tired of each other. Maybe they got married young. She looks fairly young. She looks younger than me. So she's probably in her late 20s or early 30s, right? So maybe she's coming into her own. She says been on this weight loss journey. More often than not, what happens when someone is obese and then they lose weight, they start feeling themselves, and then they start to wonder, well, who else can I get attention from? My husband's not doing it for me no more, or we're just on the rocks. So who else can I seek after? And she says that she's not looking for sex, but she is looking for another person. She mentioned the fact that there are men in church that she finds attractive. And there's nothing wrong with finding someone attractive, but you shouldn't be finding someone attractive while you're still married, annulment or not, right? And I just wonder how much of this it's just them throwing in the towel. How much of this is just they've decided to just give up after all this time? And it makes me really value my marriage because I love my wife. You know, granted, we're still newlyweds. We haven't even been married for a year yet, but it makes me appreciate my wife and who she is. And knowing that we've set, our intentions is to honor God with our marriage and to not get divorced through thick and thin. Granted, we haven't gone through anything yet. I really truly feel like a heart submitted and postured towards the Lord leaves divorce off the table. And so, guys, I don't really know what the is it cheating? Is it abandoning your duties as a husband or as a wife? Where do we draw the line at? When one decides to give up. I know cheating and abandonment are two biblical grounds for divorce. Cheating off the table. Let's just use abandonment. Where in abandonment do you just give up? Where do you just draw the line and say, all right, this person has ignored me for 2 months? Do you draw the line there, or is it 10 years? Like she says, she's been married for 10 years. Has this guy been abandoning his duties as a husband for 10 years? I don't think so. But it just makes you think. It makes you wonder, where do we get this separation of where I met this person and I was so in love with them, and then just over time I've just gradually drifted? When does the fire go out, guys? When do we make the decision in our mind to, I'm just going to stop loving this person? Because love isn't a feeling, it's an action, right? And even on days when your spouse is being difficult, you're supposed to go above and beyond. You're supposed to love them like Christ loves the church, right? And I know that people don't want to hear that. People want to be like, well, if you ain't serving me or you ain't doing me the way that I want to be done, I got all the right to leave. And honestly, you don't. It's not what the Bible says. The Bible says that you're supposed to endure and you're supposed to go through thick and thin. And even in a grounds where it's grounds for divorce biblically, I'm sure that Jesus would want you to endure, because we see in Hosea where Gomer was prostituting herself out and he got sent to go get her from the houses where the tricks were. She's prostituting herself out. He goes and retrieves her from the house of the man that she was just sleeping with and takes her back. Right. And yes, I know that this is symbolism, right? Where God kept taking Israel back after they turned their backs on them, or if they turned their backs on God, right? That God would still love them and forgive them and take them back in. And I just wonder where we get into a mindset of, I just choose to not forgive my wife. I just choose to not forgive my husband. I decided that I just don't want to be married anymore. It sets the standard, guys. We have a really high bar set for us, the way that Jesus loved the church and died for them. Humans aren't capable of loving like Jesus, but that's why we've been given a standard, a bar that we're supposed to reach. And that's why you can't just jump into marriage because you want to get some, or you think this person's hot, so you're attracted to them now. But what happens in 40 years when they let themselves go a little bit, or age just happens, skin sags and people put on weight, things like that? What happens then when the looks ain't the biggest thing, and now you're stuck with a person that you really didn't get along with all that well, but you thought they were banging, so you accepted their flaws, like you settled because they were what you were attracted to. But does their character stand up? Does the way that they love stand up? Do they love Jesus? Because at the end of the day, guys, if they love Jesus, they'll love you too. But if you're a Christian in culture or name only, you're not going to put up with a lot of things. You're not going to be able to endure to the end. You're going to end up in a situation like this. I'll say all this to say, guys, that, don't take marriage flippantly. Don't take your vows as something that you're just jotting down on a piece of paper or, little napkin notes real quick, some quick bullet points. These are serious vows. Like, you take these before the Lord. And, you know, my heart just goes out to both of these people in this scenario because no one wins and the kids lose out on, a healthy dynamic of a godly family with both parents in the picture, right? That causes issues whether you want to believe it or not. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. That's going to do it for this one, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, God bless.